Listen, I got to tell you something right now. When somebody starts acting distant, the worst thing you can do is panic. Y'all know what I'm talking about. He used to text good morning every day. Now it's every other day. Used to call before bed. Now it's just a scene on your message. And your mind start racing. What did I do wrong? Did I say too much? Should I text him again? Here's the truth. Distance ain't always about you. Sometimes a man's fighting battles you can't even see. Bills, pride, ego, insecurities, you name it. And when he pulled back, it don't mean you got smaller. It just means he got lost in his own world. Don't carry his confusion like it's your burden. Now, let me help you out with something. Don't you go chasing after somebody who's running away. You ever try to chase a dog that slipped out the gate? The more you run, the faster he runs. That's how it works. Instead of chasing, hold your ground with grace. Keep your routine, keep your smile, keep your peace. Confidence is louder than any text you could ever send. Because here's the deal when you know your value. You don't beg for attention. You command it. A queen don't chase after her crown when it slips. She straightens it, lifts her head, and keeps walking. That's the kind of energy that makes somebody stop in their tracks and think, man, I might just lose her if I don't get it together. And last thing, don't you forget this. If somebody really want to be in your life, you won't have to drag him. They'll call. They'll show up. They'll fight to stay. But if they choose distance over presence, then let them stay distant. Don't force what ain't natural. Now let me tell you something straight out the gate. When somebody starts acting distant, the first instinct most people have is to blame themselves. Oh, Lord, what did I do wrong? Did I talk too much? Did I not give enough space? Was my joke not funny? Stop right there. Every time somebody pulls back, it don't automatically mean it's about you. People carry storms inside them you can't even see. Bills pile up, dreams get heavy, pride gets bruised. And sometimes life just beats a person down until they got nothing left to give. That distance you feel, 9 times out of 10, it's them dealing with their own weight. You can't take responsibility for somebody else's silence. That's like blaming yourself for the rain. Baby, the weather don't need your permission. It just happens. And so does distance. See, here's the problem when people feel that gap. They automatically start running scenarios in their head like a whole Netflix series. He must be tired of me. He's probably found somebody else. Maybe I should have just kept quiet. Let me help you with that. Your worth ain't negotiable based on somebody's mood swings. If a man's going through his own storm, don't confuse his silence with your failure. Everybody processes life differently. Some shut down, some lash out, some hide and work, and some act distant. That's not a reflection of your value. That's just their way of survival. You cannot control another person's coping mechanism no matter how much you love them. And if you try to make every silence about you, you're going to end up chasing ghosts that were never yours to begin with. Let me give it to you plain. Sometimes distance is a man's shield. Pride is heavy, ego is fragile, and when life knocks him down, he don't always want to talk about it. So he pulls back. It ain't because you ain't enough. It ain't because you did something wrong. It's because he don't know how to handle his own fight. You got to learn to separate his issues from your identity. Don't ever tie your self-worth to the way somebody else treats you on their bad day. That's like letting the stock market determine if you're valuable. Up 1 minute, down the next. Now your value is steady. If he's distant, let him be distant. Don't go running into the fire trying to put it out with your bare hands. Sometimes the best thing you can do is step back and let him fight his own battle. Now, I ain't saying don't care. Don't twist my words. Compassion matters. But there's a difference between support and self-destruction. You can be there without losing yourself in the process. If he's acting distant, check on him once, show love once, then step back. Don't send 30 text messages. Don't call 5 times in an hour. Don't write a novel begging for clarity. That ain't strength, that's desperation. And here's the truth, desperation never pulled anybody closer. It just makes the distance wider. If he's drowning in his own ocean, sometimes the best way to help is to stay steady on the shore. Be the light he can see, not the storm that drags him deeper. You got to remind yourself people's behavior is a mirror of them, not of you. A distant man could be fighting childhood scars, work stress, financial pressure, or just his own ego. You ain't responsible for fixing that. Too many folks tie their happiness to how somebody else responds. That's dangerous. That's like letting somebody else hold the remote control to your life. Baby, you better grab that remote back. Because here's the reality. If you keep thinking every distance is your fault, you'll start shrinking yourself just to keep people close. And once you shrink yourself, you lose your shine. The right one don't need you to dim your light just so he feels comfortable standing next to you. Let me keep it real, sometimes distance is the test, not of your love, but of your patience. The question is, can you stand strong without letting insecurity eat you alive? When somebody pulls back, your reaction shows your strength. Will you crumble or will you trust your own value? Will you go begging or will you stand tall? People reveal themselves in distance, and so do you. If you react with panic, you'll hand over all your power. But if you react with calm, you show that your worth ain't up for debate. That's what separates somebody who needs attention from somebody who commands respect. Now, here's the funny part. Sometimes when you stop making distance about you, the person comes back stronger. Why? Because they realize you ain't waiting around crying in the corner. You kept living. You kept smelling. You didn't beg. You didn't break. You held your ground. And that kind of energy is magnetic. People respect what doesn't crumble. It's like watching a tree stand firm in the middle of a storm. That's attractive. That makes somebody want to lean in closer. And even if they don't, even if they stay distant, guess what? You're still whole. You're still valuable. You're still the prize. So let me close this point strong. Distance ain't always about you. Stop letting other people's silence write your story. Stop letting their confusion dictate your confidence. Your worth is not negotiable. If somebody's acting distant, let them. Don't chase, don't beg, don't crumble. Just stand in your truth and know this: the right people will never need to run away to find themselves. They'll hold your hand while they fight their battles. But until that person shows up, don't you dare think you're less because somebody pulled back. You're not the reason for every storm. Sometimes people's rain got nothing to do with you. And your job, shine anyway. Let me tell you something, chasing somebody who's running away is the fastest way to lose your dignity. You ever seen a dog break free and run out the gate? What happens? The harder you chase, the faster he runs. That's how people are. When you run after somebody who's acting distant, all you're really doing is pushing them further away. And the crazy part is, they'll start thinking they're more valuable than they really are just because you out here begging for their attention. Stop that. Don't lower yourself just to get noticed. Real queens don't chase, they get chosen. And if somebody can't recognize your worth without you running after them, then guess what? They don't deserve you. Period. Now, let me make this plain. Chasing ain't love. Chasing is fear. You're not running because your heart is full. You're running because you're afraid to lose, and fear never builds anything solid. You ever seen somebody build a house on sand? The minute the tide comes in, it crumbles. That's what fear-based love looks like. Unstable, shaky, ready to collapse at the first sign of trouble. But when you replace chasing with grace, you shift the whole game. Grace is calm. Grace is confidence. Grace says, I know what I bring to the table, and I won't be begging anybody to sit at it. That ain't arrogance, that's self-respect. And trust me, self-respect is the most attractive outfit you can ever wear. Here's where people mess up. They think pressure creates love. If I just call more, text more, show up more, maybe he'll see how much I care. No, baby, pressure don't create love. It creates irritation. It's like trying to hold a bar of soap too tight. The tighter you squeeze, the quicker it slips out your hands. That's what chasing does. It squeezes the life out of the connection. But when you replace that energy with grace, you loosen your grip. You give space, you let things flow. And suddenly, instead of running from you, they lean back toward you, not because you forced it, but because you let them breathe. People don't stay where they're suffocated. They stay where they feel safe. See, grace ain't weakness. It's power under control. Anybody can panic. Anybody can beg, but it takes real strength to step back and say, if you want to leave, I ain't stopping you. If you want to stay, then show me. That's grace. It's quiet confidence. It don't need a speech. It don't need drama. It don't need tears. It just stands tall. And funny thing is, when you operate in grace, you put the ball back in their court. Now they got to decide to step up or step out. And either way, you win. Because if they step up, great, you get the love you deserve. If they step out, even better. You just made room for somebody who will treat you right. Let me put it like this: chasing turns you into a contestant. You ever seen folks on them reality shows fighting over one person's attention? Embarrassing, ain't it? They cry, they argue, they beg, like the prize is that person instead of their own dignity. But grace don't compete. Grace says, I am the prize. And when you know you're the prize, you don't chase after nobody who's blind enough to miss it. If they can't see what's standing in front of them, that's their loss. Your job ain't to audition for love. It's to be ready for the one who already knows you're it. Stop auditioning for roles you was born to own. Now, don't get me wrong. Grace ain't about acting cold or heartless. It's not the silent treatment. It's not games. It's not manipulation. Grace is warm, but it's steady. It says, I can love you without losing me. That's the balance. Too many folks confuse love with sacrifice. They think if I just give up more of myself, they'll finally stay. No, that ain't love. That's bargaining. And bargaining never works in relationships. Grace is different. Grace is given without begging. It's caring without clinging. It's knowing that your happiness don't live in nobody else's pocket. It lives inside of you. Here's the kicker people notice grace. When you stop chasing, it messes with their head in a good way. They start realizing, wait a minute, she ain't calling me 5 times a day. She ain't blowing up my phone. She ain't begging for my time. Suddenly, they realize you ain't desperate. And desperation is repellent, but confidence is magnetic. Grace is confidence in motion. And that confidence will either make them step up and treat you right, or it'll expose that they was never the one for you in the first place. Either way, you win. That's why I always tell people stop chasing what ain't yours, because what's meant for you don't need to be hunted down. It'll find its way to you. So let me close this right. Don't chase. Replace with grace. Replace panic with patience. Replace fear with faith. Replace desperation with dignity. When somebody pulls back, don't run after them like your life depends on it. Hold your ground, stand in your value, and trust that the right ones will never make you chase. They'll meet you where you are. Remember, you are the prize, and the prize don't run after the player. The player runs after the prize. When you live in that truth, grace becomes your greatest power. And trust me, ain't nothing more powerful than a person who knows their worth and refuses to beg for what they already deserve. Now listen. Let me tell you the realest thing you gonna hear today, your value ain't up for debate. Too many people walk around letting somebody else set their price tag. If one person gives attention, they feel worthy. If another pulls back, they feel empty. Stop letting folks auction off what God already made priceless. You don't go to a Bentley dealership and haggle the price down like it's a used couch, do you? No, because the value is set. Same thing with you. You gotta stand on your value like it's unshakable. When somebody tries to treat you like a discount, you better remind yourself, baby, I don't do clearance sales. Either you pay full respect or you don't get access at all. That's the mindset of somebody who knows their worth. See, here's the problem. When you don't know your value, you settle for crumbs like it's a 5-course meal. Somebody gives you half their time, half their effort, half their honesty, and you clap like it's love. That ain't love, that's leftovers. And you are not a leftover. You were designed to be the main course. But you'll only get treated like the main course when you start standing like one. People take cues from how you carry yourself. If you act like you're disposable, guess what? They'll treat you like you are. But when you stand tall and demand respect through your actions, not begging, not shouting, but actions, they'll either step up or step off. And either way, you win because you ain't shrinking for nobody. Let me make it plain. Value is about consistency. It's not about how good you look on a Friday night when you dressed up for the club. It's about how you carry yourself Monday morning when life feels heavy. Do you still know you're worthy even when nobody's texting? Do you still walk tall when you feel ignored? That's when your value is tested. Anybody can feel valuable when they got attention, but real value is when you don't need validation to believe it. You got to look in the mirror and say, even on my worst day, I'm still somebody worth respect. Even in my loneliest moment, I'm still a prize. When you talk to yourself like that, you start walking different. You stop taking just anything because you know you're not just anyone. Now let me get this straight. Standing on your value don't mean you act arrogant or untouchable. That's not confidence, that's ego. True confidence is quiet. It don't scream, it don't boast, it just shows up. Standing on your value is about boundaries, not attitude. Boundaries say, this is how I deserve to be treated. If you can't meet that, then I can't make room for you. And let me tell you, boundaries are powerful. They separate the ones who play games from the ones who are serious. Folks who can't respect your boundaries will call you difficult. But that's just code for I couldn't manipulate you. Don't fall for it. Stay firm. When you stand on your value, you don't bend just to keep somebody around. You let them bend towards you if they really want to stay. Here's the funny part. When you finally stand on your value, you scare some people. Why? Because they realize they can't play with you the way they played with others. You ain't falling for the sweet talk. You ain't buying the excuses. You ain't begging for the bare minimum. And that intimidates the wrong ones, but it attracts the right ones. The right kind of person ain't scared of your standards. They're inspired by them. They see you as a challenge worth stepping up to, not a doormat to walk over. Remember this, your value doesn't push away the good, it filters out the bad. And baby, you need that filter. Because life is too short to keep letting unqualified folks take up space in your heart. Another thing, when you stand on your value, you stop rushing. Desperate people rush. They rush to lock things down, rush to prove themselves, rush to hold on. But valuable people, they take their time. Diamonds don't rush. Gold don't panic. They've been valuable for centuries and they'll still be valuable tomorrow. Same goes for you. When you know your worth, you don't run around begging somebody to see it. You let time reveal it. And here's the beauty when you slow down. You actually get clarity. You stop mistaking lust for love, attention for commitment, and sweet words for solid actions. Value gives you patience. Patience gives you wisdom. And wisdom saves you from heartbreak. Now let me tell you how this plays out in real life. Picture this. You standing tall, knowing your worth, and somebody comes along trying to play games. Instead of crying about it, you say, I wish you well, but I don't do games. That's power. That's grace. And trust me, when you walk away from nonsense, the nonsense usually realizes what it lost. It's like when you stop shopping at a cheap store. Suddenly they're blowing up your phone with discounts. But by then, it's too late. You've moved on to quality. That's how you got to treat your heart. Don't keep shopping at discount aisles when you were made for luxury. Stand on your value and watch how quickly people who ain't serious disqualify themselves. So let me wrap this up strong. Stand on your value like your life depends on it, because your peace does. Don't settle for crumbs when you were made for the whole cake. Don't beg for respect when you can demand it through your actions. Don't shrink yourself just to keep somebody who don't even know how to love you right. When you stand on your value, you teach the world how to treat you. And the beautiful part is, the ones who truly see your worth will rise up to meet it. They won't run from your standards, they'll respect him. Remember this, you are not a clearance item. You are not on sale. You are full price, top shelf, one of a kind. Stand on it, own it, and never let anybody convince you otherwise. Now listen, if you don't remember nothing else I say, remember this, stop doing all the heavy lifting in relationships. Too many people out here building castles for folks who won't even bring a brick. You calling, you texting, you planning, you fixing, and they sitting back like a guest in your life instead of a partner. That ain't balance. That's slavery disguised as love. If somebody really wants to be in your life, let them prove it. Let them put in the effort. Let them do the work. Love is not a one-person hustle. It's a two-player game. And if they can't pick up their share, then baby, you need to stop playing for two. See, the reason people get exhausted in love is because they're carrying somebody who should be walking beside them. You can't drag a grown man or woman like a suitcase through the airport of life. You're going to break your back doing that. Relationships are partnerships, not parenthood. And when you do all the work, you train them to do nothing. You condition them to think love is free labor. But let me tell you, love don't mean serving without return. Love means reciprocity. That's give and take, back and forth. If somebody can't show up for you the way you show up for them, then let them miss out. Don't you dare spend your life running after somebody who won't even take a step toward you. Here's the truth, effort shows intention. Words are cheap, promises are cheaper, but effort, that's the real currency of love. You don't need another "I'll do better" speech. You need actions. If they want to see you, they'll find a way. If they value you, they'll make time. If they truly care, they'll put in the work. Don't let excuses blind you to reality. I'm busy is fine once or twice, but if somebody got time for everything else except you, then guess where you rank on their list? Dead last, and baby, you're too valuable to be sitting at the bottom of anybody's priorities. Let them show up or let them go. Now let me give it to you straight. Stop applying for the role of savior. Too many folks think if they just love hard enough, sacrifice enough, bend enough, they can change somebody. That ain't your job. That's not love, that's construction work, and you ain't hired to rebuild no broken foundation. Your job is to stand in your worth and let them step up. If they can't do the work, they don't get the reward. Simple as that. Think about it. Do you hand out diplomas to folks who never studied? No. Do you pay employees who never show up? No. So why in the world are you giving your heart to somebody who never earned it? Let me break it down with something funny. You ever see somebody at the gym sweating, pushing hard, lifting weights? Now imagine their trainer sitting on the bench eating donuts while yelling, "You got this?" That's some of y'all's relationships right there. You sweating, carrying all the weight while they just sitting back giving empty words. Nah, that ain't it. If they really want this relationship, tell them to pick up some weight too. Carry part of the load, make the call, plan the date, solve the problem. Apologize when they're wrong. That's how love works. It ain't one person doing push-ups while the other just watches. It's both people training together. Now, I know some people get scared of this because they think, but if I stop doing the work, they might leave. Listen to me, if somebody only stays because you carry the whole relationship, then you don't have a partner, you got a dependent. And dependents belong on tax forms, not in your heart. The right one will not leave just because you asked them to contribute. The right one will roll up their sleeves and say, what can I do? That's the kind of love you deserve. And if asking for effort makes somebody disappear, then let them. You didn't lose love, you just lost dead weight. See, here's the beauty of letting them do the work. You get clarity. Real quick, you're going to find out who's serious and who's just hanging around for the benefits. Folks who are serious about you will rise up. They'll show consistency. They'll make sacrifices. They'll invest. But the pretenders, they'll fade the minute you stop carrying everything for him. And baby, that's a blessing. Because it's better to find out early than waste years on somebody who never planned on showing up. Stop begging for effort. Require it. That's how you separate players from partners. So let me close this out strong. Let them do the work. Stop texting first all the time. Stop fixing every problem. Stop bending until you break. Love is not about exhaustion. It's about partnership. The one who truly values you won't need reminders, won't need begging, won't need ultimatums. They'll step up on their own. And if they don't, then you let them go without losing sleep. Because the truth is, you ain't supposed to carry love alone. You're supposed to share it. So let them do the work or let them walk away. Either way, you still win. Because you kept your dignity, your peace, and your crown intact. Let me wrap this up real clear. When somebody starts acting distant, you don't panic, you don't beg, you don't crumble. You remember who you are. Distance ain't always about you, so stop taking on battles that ain't yours. Don't chase replace with grace, because desperation pushes people away while confidence brings the right ones closer. Stand on your value, because the minute you forget your worth, the world will treat you like you cheap. And finally, let him do the work. Love ain't no one-person job. The right one gonna step up without you dragging him. At the end of the day, you are the prize. The crown don't chase after the head. It waits for the right one to wear it with honor. Walk in that truth, stand in that strength, and never forget love should lift you, not drain you.